Fabrizio Romano shares Isak to Liverpool. Update as Ekitike deal advances. Liverpool remain interested in Alexander Isak and will look to enter negotiations to lure him to Anfield if Newcastle United alter their stance and decide they are prepared to cash in ahead of the upcoming campaign. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano has exclusively revealed in his latest Give Me Sport newsletter. The Reds have been splashing the cash as they aim to upgrade their Premier League title-winning squad, with Florian Wirtz potentially becoming the most expensive acquisition in British history after joining in a deal worth up to £116 million from Bayer Leverkusen. But boss Arne Slot is in the market for further reinforcements. Slot is continuing to monitor Isak's situation, Reds waiting to discover if stance will change over frontman. Romano exclusively revealed earlier this week that Liverpool opened formal discussions with Newcastle on Tuesday as they attempted to discover whether there is a possibility of being able to land Isak before the summer window slams shut on September 1st, with there being a willingness to pay up to £120 million. Although the Magpies have been adamant that they do not want to lose their first-choice striker, who still has 3 years remaining on his £120, 000 per week contract at St. James Park, the Reds are continuing to circle, and the Italian journalist has confirmed that they are determined to keep tabs on whether his current employer's stance softens. In an interesting update, Romano said, "The Isak story depends on Newcastle. At the moment, Newcastle insist on their stance. If that changes, Liverpool are always attentive." Dutch tactician Slot has been keeping his options open as he goes in search of a new marksman, and, in a significant boost, Hugo Ekitike has given indications that he wants to embark on a fresh challenge at Anfield ahead of an expected official offer being pushed into Eintracht Frankfurt's direction. Liverpool are in advanced talks to recruit the Frenchman in a deal worth more than £70 million, after Newcastle had a proposal rejected earlier this week. But Isak is still firmly on their radar, and there has been an openness to make him the next marquee arrival on Merseyside as preparations are made for the upcoming season. Eintracht Frankfurt share Hugo Ekitike clip as Liverpool agree personal terms ahead of transfer. Liverpool are in talks over signing Eintracht Frankfurt striker Hugo Ekitike. Eintracht Frankfurt have teased Hugo Ekitike's qualities as Liverpool close in on a deal. Eintracht Frankfurt have teased a glimpse of Hugo Ekitike's quality as Liverpool push to sign the Frenchman. The Reds have agreed personal terms with the 23-year-old after opening talks with the Bundesliga club. Arne Slot's side are in negotiations over landing the attacker in a bid to strengthen their strike force. After dialogue in the last 48 hours, Liverpool thrashed out personal terms with the former Paris Saint-Germain forward over a long-term contract after being granted permission to hold negotiations. The 23-year-old is keen on a move to the Premier League champions, but Liverpool will have to negotiate with Frankfurt as the German outfit look to receive €100 million, £86 million, for his services. Liverpool bank £175 million sum following Premier League title triumph. News of the deal began to accelerate on Thursday and during the reports breaking over the France international. Wanting to move to the Premier League, his current club shared insight into what type of quality he can offer. The video appears to show the Frankfurt players going through a series of challenges. Ekitike curls a right-footed strike into the top right corner and hits a target with the club posting it alongside the caption, "Bullseye emoji at Ekitike on point, fire emoji." Liverpool have been plotting to add reinforcements to their strike force this summer. Both Ekitike and Newcastle United star Alexander Isak were installed as their leading targets in the transfer window, with the Reds eyeing firepower in forward areas. Slot's side have been long-standing admirers of the Sweden international and were willing to table a bid in excess of £100 million for the talisman, but the Magpies were adamant that they would not sell him during the transfer window. The Northeast club were also in the running to sign the French forward, but pulled out of the race once Liverpool had signaled their interest in the attacker. Initially, the Magpies saw their €80 million, £69.4 million, offer rejected by Frankfurt on Tuesday, falling short of the Die Adler's demands. Bild's Eintracht Frankfurt reporter Johannes Wolf told the Echo, "He's not quite there yet at Isak's level. Isak is more the proven player, But he showed without Omar Marmoush that he can be the main guy, and I have no doubts that he can be that in the Premier League. In the long run, he has the ability to do that. The most intriguing thing is, and when we speak to sources, the profile compared to Isak is scary enough, almost identical. If you take not only his stature and stats, Ekitike has the same ability in him as Isak. He'd need time to get to Isak's class, but there's also the possibility that he can get even better than Isak. The bar is high, but I wouldn't put that out of reach. Fabrizio Romano reveals Arsenal transfer breakthrough amid Gyokeres negotiations. Fabrizio Romano has said that Arsenal have a medical booked for defender Christian Mosquera from Valencia, and that the Victor Gyokeres deal almost fell through. The Gunners are trying to sign a few different players at the moment. Noni Madueke from Chelsea has been all but confirmed, but they are still working to add Valencia defender Christian Mosquera and Sporting CP striker Victor Gyokeres. Mosquera looks dead set to join Arsenal after a £16.5 million total fee was agreed for the 21-year-old Spanish centre-back. The fee is relatively cheap considering that Mosquera has all the measurables and development so far to become one of the best defenders in the Premier League. Journalist Fabrizio Romano confirmed via Football 365 that Arsenal have a medical book for the Valencia star. He said, Arsenal and Valencia have also exchanged documents for Christian Mosquera deal, €15 million plus add-ons, total fee under €20 million and long-term deal for Mosquera, medical booked on Wednesday. Romano also provides Gyokeres update. Mosquera wasn't the only player that Romano has updated on, as he revealed via his YouTube channel that despite being very close to a transfer deal, any move for Gyokeres to Arsenal almost fell through in the past couple of days. Romano said, Victor Gyokeres remains a topic to watch in these hours because the agents of the player are still in London. Last night we had reports of the deal on the verge of collapsing. From what I'm told, the conversation is still ongoing between all parties involved to sort the final point, the add-ons. The agent did everything possible because he's going to reduce the commission. Arsenal are also doing their best by paying more than what they expected. It was initially agreed that Arsenal would pay £52 million in a base fee, with add-ons of £8.6 million. However, Romano suggested that now, Sporting have demanded a fee, which has been agreed of around £55 million, with add-ons of £8.6 million, making an overall cost of £63.6 million. Manchester United to get their man? Red Devils close in on deal to land Aston Villa goalkeeper Martinez amid stunning release clause revelation. In a summer of secret release clauses, Martinez reportedly has one at Aston Villa that could work in Manchester United's favor. World Cup winner opened a new challenge. Transfer talks progressing positively. United will to pay bigger fee in installments. What happened? The Red Devils have been linked with the World Cup winning goalkeeper for some time, with efforts to bring him on board at Old Trafford said to have been stepped up. For now, Martinez has returned to preseason training at Villa. Route them the bigger picture. That may not be the case for long, as Clarín, the biggest newspaper in Argentina, claimed that Martinez has everything ready to trade the West Midlands for the northwest of England. They consider a deal to be close. Did you know? It is also claimed that Martinez has a €25 million, £22 EM/$29 release clause in his contract. Seed fee would see the enigmatic 32-year-old become a bargain addition for United. They are, however, willing to pay more than that figure in order to reach an agreement that suits all parties. Tell me more. With the Red Devils reluctant to part with a fee up front, as is often the case with release clauses, they are prepared to sweeten the deal for Villa by increasing the terms and spreading payment over a number of installments. That approach will also allow them to fend off rival interest from Turkey and the Saudi Pro League. What next for Martinez? Martinez is tied to a contract at Villa Park until 2029, but is seemingly willing to take on a new challenge. If he moves to Manchester, then the Argentina international will inherit starting duties for United from Cameroonian custodian Andre Onana, who is currently nursing an injury. Alexander Isak disappointed with Newcastle as Liverpool get transfer encouragement. Liverpool are trying to sign Alexander Isak from Newcastle in a blockbuster summer transfer. Alexander Isak is currently contracted until 2028. Alexander Isak is reportedly disappointed with Newcastle's failure to offer him a bumper new deal. In what could prove a critical development, the 25-year-old has not signed a new contract amid mounting speculation over a move to Liverpool. Isak is currently tied to St. James's Park until 2028. However, the Reds are set to test the club's resolve after making inquiries about the Swedish striker's availability. A bid is expected in the region of £120 million after the star scored 27 times last season, including in their League Cup final win. According to The Sun, Isak was initially promised a new, improved package by the club's former co-owners, Amanda Stavely and Mehrdad Ghodussi. They sold their club shares in March 2024, with new sporting director Paul Mitchell then said to have taken over negotiations last summer. However, one of his first key decisions was to stall talks with Isak over an extension. Mitchell reportedly believed his £130,000 a week wages were sufficient and was wary of PSR regulations. For the latest breaking stories and headlines, sign up Express LFC newsletter. Amanda Stavely left Newcastle last year after talks with Isak. Mitchell left his position at the club last month by mutual consent. Isak and his representatives are said to be disappointed by the club's failure to honor what he was previously told. Only Mohamed Salah scored more goals than Isak in the Premier League last season. His total of 29 was 6 better than the Magpies' no.9, and yet the current differentiation in wages is staggering. The Egyptian star is on around £400, a week at Anfield. While the Reds are unlikely to match that figure in any offer to the former Real Sociedad man, they are likely to pledge to increase his current deal. Isak has remained tight-lipped on his future throughout the saga. During the season, he wasn't paying attention to media speculation and was just focused on his form and team results. Manchester United dealt huge blow in bid to sell Jadon Sancho as Juventus advance on deal to sign winger Francisco Conceição. Juventus are reportedly on the verge of reaching an agreement with FC Porto to sign Francisco Conceição on a permanent basis, which has cast doubt over Manchester United star Jadon Sancho's switch to the Allianz Stadium. The 21-year-old impressed Juventus's hierarchy during his loan spell, and his familiarity with the squad have prompted the Serie A giants to prioritize his acquisition instead of Sancho's. Juventus, closing in on Conceição, views Sancho as an alternative target, winger ready to take a pay cut to join Juve. What happened? According to Sky Italy, the Italians are in advanced talks with Porto to sign Conceição, and all parties are moving positively towards finalizing the deal. Moreover, Ben Jacobs claimed that although Everton are ready to activate Conceição's €30 million, £26/$35M, the player is not keen on a move to Merseyside and only wants Juventus, the bigger picture. However, conflicting reports have emerged from Italy suggesting that Juventus may not be forced to choose between the two. According to Football Italia, while Conceição is closer to a deal, the club is still monitoring Sancho's situation at United and could move for both players, depending on outgoing transfers and financial flexibility. Nico Gonzalez is expected to receive a substantial offer from the Saudi Pro League, which would free up both space in the squad and funds on the wage bill. And with his departure on the cards, Juventus would have more flexibility to accommodate another high-profile arrival, with Sancho fitting the bill. To further bolster their spending power, Juventus are also engaged in discussions with Sporting CP over the possible sale of midfielder Alberto Costa. The transfer could bring in additional funds to fuel Juventus's recruitment drive, particularly in their pursuit of Sancho. Did you know? Sancho's situation at Old Trafford has reached a tense standstill. The winger, who joined Manchester United in 2021 for £74 million, $99 million, from Borussia Dortmund, has 1 year left on the contract. He is reportedly demanding a severance package worth at least €5 million, £4/$6M, to terminate the deal early and enable a move elsewhere. However, Sancho is said to be open to a significant salary reduction in order to facilitate the transfer. Reports suggest he is ready to lower his annual income to around £7 million, $9 million, approximately £180, £000 per week, a drop of over £120, £000 per week. Juventus, for their part, have tabled an offer of £5 million plus performance-based bonuses, totaling just over £130,000 per week. While the gap is closing, it remains to be seen whether both parties can reach an agreement that satisfies all financial considerations. What next? In terms of transfer fee, Juventus have reportedly proposed an initial payment of €25 million, pound 21 MORM/dollar 29 EM, with further bonuses, which falls short of United's valuation. The Premier League side is nearing the financial ceiling of their summer transfer budget, having spent heavily on the acquisition of Matheus Cunha, and with Brian Mbeumo expected to follow. Offloading Sancho could provide much-needed relief to pursue further additions.